The line in the Star's commander, Ilara Chen, stood at the viewport of the diplomatic vessel Olive Branch, watching the gleaming spires of the Galactic Conclave Station rotate slowly against the backdrop of stars. For 10 years, she had represented humanity in this grand assembly of species, arguing for Earth's right to expand peacefully into unclaimed systems. For 10 years, she had been patient, respectful, and measured in her responses to the thinly veiled contempt of older species. That patience had run out. "They've rejected our final proposal," said Lieutenant Reyes, her aide, stepping up beside her with a datapad. The Kelnari representative called it the desperate posturing of a primitive species unable to accept its proper place in the galactic hierarchy. Chen didn't turn from the viewport. And the other conclave members? Abstained from comment. As usual, Reyes's voice was bitter. They won't oppose the Kelnari Empire. Too much trade at stake. Then we're done here. Chen finally turned, her face set in grim determination. Send the coded message to Earth. Diplomacy has failed. 3 weeks earlier, the human colony on New Haven had been attacked without warning or provocation. 30,000 settlers, scientists, farmers, teachers, children, had been killed when Kelnari warships bombarded the planet's surface. The official reason given was that humans had encroached on territory the Kelnari had historical claim to, despite the system being officially listed as unclaimed in conclave records. It wasn't the first such incident. In the 50 years since, humanity had discovered faster-than-light travel and ventured beyond their solar system. They had faced consistent harassment, territorial disputes, and outright hostility from the Kelnari Empire, one of the oldest and most powerful members of the Galactic Conclave. Earth had responded each time with restraint, seeking diplomatic solutions, accepting compromises that were often humiliating. The Conclave saw this as weakness, a young species knowing its place. They had misunderstood completely. "The Council's message is confirmed received," said Reyes, looking up from his console. "They've authorized Protocol Sword Unsheathed." Chen nodded, feeling a strange calm settle over her. "How long until the Kelnari delegation leaves the station? Their ship is preparing for departure now. They've made it clear they consider our grievances to be without merit. Then let's give them a proper send-off." Chen tapped her neural implant, activating a secure channel to the ship's captain. "Captain Lucas, please position us to observe the Kelnari delegation's departure and prepare our jump engines. Once it begins, we'll need to leave quickly." On the bridge of the Olive Branch, Captain Lucas acknowledged the order without question. Like all crew members aboard this vessel, he knew what Protocol Sword Unsheathed meant. The pretense was over. The Kelnari diplomatic cruiser, an elegant vessel shaped like a silver arrowhead, detached from the Conclave Station's docking ring and began moving away, preparing for its jump to faster-than-light travel. "They're powering their FTL drive," reported the sensor officer. Chen watched the Kelnari ship, thinking of the ambassador aboard, the same one who had dismissed humanity's demands for reparations for New Haven as primitive emotionalism. The same one who had laughed when she delivered Earth's final warning. "We have been restraining ourselves. We have been patient. That ends now. Leave our colonies in peace, or face the consequences." The Kelnari ship suddenly lurched, its engines flaring erratically. Around it, space itself seemed to ripple and distort. "What's happening?" demanded Captain Lucas, though everyone on the bridge already knew. "They're being interdicted," said Chen quietly. "Earth's final message is being delivered." The impossible was happening before their eyes. 6 warships had appeared around the Kelnari vessel, sleek, predatory shapes with midnight black hulls that seemed to drink in the light. Ships that, according to every intelligence report the Conclave possessed, Earth couldn't possibly have built. Ships that had been hiding, cloaked and undetectable, near the Conclave Station itself. Ships that had been waiting for this moment. "Those are Nightshade-class battlecruisers," whispered Reyes in awe. "I thought they were still theoretical." "The public projects are theoretical," corrected Chen. "These have been operational for 15 years. On their view screen, the Kelnari ship was caught in a gravitational web, unable to escape or jump to FTL. A transmission was being broadcast on all frequencies, directed not just at the trapped diplomat, but at the conclave station itself. Admiral Jackson Way's face appeared on their screen, the head of Earth's United Defense Council, a man whose existence was classified at the highest levels. To the Kelnari Empire and the Galactic Conclave, he began, his voice level and emotionless. For 50 years, humanity has endured insults, territorial encroachment, and outright aggression. We have responded with diplomacy and restraint, not out of weakness, but out of hope for peaceful coexistence. The Admiral's eyes hardened. That restraint was misinterpreted. The massacre at New Haven has demonstrated that peace is not possible with those who mistake patience for weakness. Humanity will no longer restrain itself. On the view screen, one of the black ships fired a precise beam that sliced through the Kelnari vessel's propulsion system, crippling it without destroying it. "This is but a fraction of Earth's true military capacity," continued Admiral Way. "We have technologies and weapons you believed were centuries beyond our development. We kept them hidden, hoping they would never be needed." Chen watched as the conclave station went to high alert, its defensive systems activating. Uselessly, she knew. If Earth had wanted to destroy the station, it would already be gone. To the Kelnari Empire, you have 24 hours to withdraw all forces from human-claimed systems and begin immediate reparations for New Haven. To the Galactic Conclave, you have the same period to determine whether you stand with aggressors or with justice. The transmission ended, and the 6 black ships surrounded the crippled Kelnari vessel, escorting it in the direction of Kelnari space, a humiliating procession visible to every diplomatic mission on the conclave station. "Captain Lucas," said Chen, turning from the viewport, "take us home to Earth. Our diplomatic mission is concluded." As the olive branch jumped to FTL, leaving the chaos at the conclave behind, Chen felt no satisfaction, only resolve. Humanity had warned the galaxy they were holding back. Now the galaxy would learn what humanity was truly capable of. The response from the Kelnari Empire came 18 hours later, not with diplomacy, but with an attack fleet dispatched to Earth itself. Intelligence suggested they believed striking directly at humanity's homeworld would force a quick surrender. They had gravely miscalculated. The Kelnari war fleet emerged from FTL at the edge of the Sol system, expecting to find a primitive defense network easily overwhelmed by their superior technology and numbers. Instead, they found themselves surrounded. Earth's orbital defense platforms, previously disguised as civilian research stations, revealed their true nature, weapons systems emerging from hidden compartments. More Nightshade battle cruisers decloaked around the Kelnari fleet, and from Earth's moon launched a swarm of sleek fighter craft, unlike anything the Kelnari had encountered. Admiral Way stood on the bridge of the EDF Reckoning, Earth's first dreadnought-class vessel, watching tactical displays as the trap closed. "Send one final warning," he ordered his communications officer. "Tell them they have one chance to surrender." The Kelnari responded by opening fire, their energy weapons flashing across space toward Earth's defenders. The Admiral nodded grimly. "All ships engage according to protocol, sword unsheathed. No mercy for those who gave none." What followed wasn't a battle. It was an execution. Earth's hidden technologies proved devastatingly effective against the Kelnari warships. Quantum. Disruptors bypassed their shields entirely. AI-guided targeting systems predicted and countered their evasive maneuvers with uncanny precision. Earth's fighters moved so quickly they seemed to teleport around enemy fire. Within 30 minutes, the pride of the Kelnari fleet was reduced to debris floating in Earth's orbit. Only the command ship remained intact, deliberately spared. "Admiral, we opened a channel to the surviving Kelnari commander. This was just one fleet. Right now, Earth forces are moving to retake our colonies and strike at your key military installations. This can still end with your empire intact, if you choose to negotiate honestly. Otherwise, we will dismantle your empire piece by piece." He ended the transmission before they could respond. Looking out at the wreckage of the Kelnari fleet, he felt no triumph, only the grim satisfaction of necessary justice. "Set course for New Haven," he ordered. "It's time to liberate our people." Across the galaxy, news of the battle at Earth spread like wildfire through conclave channels. Species that had dismissed humanity as an inconsequential newcomer now scrambled to reassess. Intelligence agencies frantically reviewed all data on human technological development, trying to understand how they had missed so much. The truth was both simple and profound. Humanity had been preparing for this moment since their first contact with alien life. While presenting a friendly diplomatic face to the galaxy, Earth's best minds had worked in secret to develop technologies that could defend humanity against any threat. They had hidden their true capabilities, not out of deceit, but out of hope that they would never be needed. New Haven had shattered that hope. Now the galaxy would learn what it meant when humanity stopped holding back. Reckoning Captain Marcus Reed stood on the bridge of the EDF Defiance, watching through the view screen as New Haven's surface came into focus. 3 months had passed since the Kelnari bombardment, and the scars were still visible even from orbit. Blackened craters where research facilities and residential areas had once stood. "Kelnari occupation force is hailing us," reported his communications officer, Lieutenant Park. "They're demanding our immediate withdrawal from the system." Reed smiled thinly. "Let me guess, they're claiming historical rights to this planet?" "Yes, sir. Put them through." The view screen shifted to show a Kelnari military commander, his scaled face set in the expression of arrogant certainty that seemed common to their species. "Human vessel, you are intruding in Kelnari sovereign territory. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." Reed leaned forward slightly. "This is Captain Marcus Reed of the Earth Defense Force. I'm here to inform you that your occupation of New Haven ends today. You have 30 minutes to evacuate your forces and leave this system." The Kelnari commander's facial scales flared in what Reed recognized as amusement. "You are outnumbered 6-1, human. Your single ship cannot hope to—" "I'm not finished," interrupted Reed calmly. "This isn't a negotiation, it's courtesy. In precisely 30 minutes, every Kelnari ship and soldier in this system will be targeted. Those who surrender will be treated according to conclave conventions on prisoners of war. Those who resist will be eliminated." The commander hissed. "Your threats are as empty as your claim to this planet. The Kelnari Empire does not yield to primitives." 30 minutes, repeated Reed, and signaled for the transmission to end. He turned to his tactical officer. "Status of our reinforcements?" "Strike group is in position, cloaks active. Ground forces ready for deployment. Temporal distortion field is calibrated and ready." Reed nodded. "And the civilian evacuation?" "Complete, sir." Resistance fighters helped the surviving colonists reach the underground shelters. Reed checked the chronometer on his command console. "Let's make this quick and clean. I want minimal damage to colonial infrastructure." For the next 28 minutes, the Defiance remained alone and apparently vulnerable in orbit above New Haven. The Kelnari occupation forces, believing they faced a single Earth vessel on a suicide mission, prepared their ships for what they assumed would be a brief, one-sided battle. They never saw the rest of Earth's strike group, hidden behind advanced cloaking technology. They never detected the temporal distortion field that had been established around the planet, slowing their communications and reaction times to a crawl. When the 30-minute deadline expired, they were completely unprepared for what followed. 8. Earth battle cruisers decloaked simultaneously, surrounding the Kelnari formation. Before the alien commander could even register their presence, precision strikes had disabled the weapons and propulsion systems of every occupation vessel. On the ground, Earth's dropships deployed specially trained liberation forces, soldiers, equipped with exoskeletons that enhanced their natural strength and speed to superhuman levels. They moved through the Kelnari ground forces like ghosts, neutralizing resistance with shocking efficiency. 90 minutes after Reed had delivered his ultimatum, New Haven was back under human control. The surviving Kelnari, those who had surrendered rather than fight, were being processed as prisoners of war. Reed walked through the colony's central plaza, now serving as a temporary command center. Around him, Medical teams treated injured colonists while engineering crews began assessing the damage to critical infrastructure. "Captain Reed," called a voice, and he turned to see a woman approaching. Dr. Sarah Nakamura, the colony's chief scientist and one of the leaders of the resistance against the Kelnari occupation. "Doctor," he greeted her, "I wish we were meeting under better circumstances." "We thought Earth had forgotten us," she said, her voice tight with emotion. "When the Kelnari came, they told us no help would come, that the Conclave had recognized their claim to this system." Reed shook his head. "Earth never forgot. We were preparing, building our strength, developing the technologies we needed to not just save New Haven, but to ensure this never happens again." Dr. Nakamura looked around at the Earth soldiers efficiently securing the area, at the advanced technology they wielded with casual familiarity. "They had no idea what they were provoking, did they?" "No," agreed Reed. "They saw our restraint as weakness, a common mistake throughout human history, and always a fatal one. Similar scenes were playing out across a dozen human colonies that had been attacked or occupied by Kelnari forces. Earth's hidden fleets emerged from the shadows, striking with overwhelming force and precision. Each liberation was executed, according to the same protocol: an ultimatum, an opportunity to surrender, then swift and decisive action. The message spread quickly through conclave space. Humanity was no longer the patient, diplomatic species willing to absorb insults and aggression. They were revealing themselves as a military power of frightening capability, one that had hidden its true strength for decades. In the Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Conclave, emergency sessions were called as species that had previously ignored humanity now scrambled to establish diplomatic channels. Those who had traded with the Kelnari Empire suddenly found reasons to distance themselves from their former ally. Commander Ilara Chen returned to the Conclave station not as a supplicant, but as Earth's authorized representative with full powers to negotiate the new reality. She strode into the assembly hall with a confidence that silenced the usual murmurs that accompanied human appearances. "Esteemed delegates," she began, her voice carrying easily through the vast chamber. "Humanity comes before you today not to seek recognition or approval, but to establish terms." The conclave arbiter, a member of the ancient Vox species, raised a limb in objection. "Commander Chen, there are protocols for addressing this assembly." "Those protocols," interrupted Chen calmly, "were designed to keep younger species in a position of perpetual supplication. Today we speak as equals, or we do not speak at all." The assembly hall erupted in shocked whispers. No one interrupted the arbiter. It simply wasn't done. Chen continued as if she hadn't noticed. "The Kelnari Empire has been driven from human space. Their military capabilities have been significantly reduced. They now face a choice: genuine peace with humanity, or extinction as an interstellar power." The Kelnari delegate, a hastily appointed replacement for the one who had been captured during the initial confrontation, rose from his seat. "The Empire will not be threatened by—" "You mistake this for a threat," said Chen, her voice hardening. "It is simply reality. Your empire attacked our colonies, murdered our civilians, and dismissed our warnings. The consequence is that you now negotiate from a position of weakness, a position you created." She turned her attention back to the full assembly. "For 50 years, humanity restrained itself. We developed technologies in secret, built fleets in hidden shipyards, and trained our forces while presenting a facade of limited capability to this conclave, not out of deception but out of hope that we would never need to reveal our true strength." Displaying a composure that belied the tension in the room, Chen activated a holographic projection in the center of the assembly hall. It showed the current deployment of Earth's forces. Dozens of advanced warships now openly patrolling human space, with many more still hidden beyond the reach of conclave sensors. "This is approximately 30% of Earth's current military capacity," she informed them. "We reveal this not to intimidate, but to be transparent about the new reality. Humanity will no longer pretend to be less than we are." The arbiter's voice wavered slightly as he asked, "What are Earth's terms?" "Recognition of all current human settlements and claims. reparations from the Kelnari Empire for the attacks on our colonies, a formal acknowledgement that aggression against humanity will be met with overwhelming force. Chen paused, looking around the assembly, and finally, a restructuring of this conclave to ensure that no species, regardless of how long they have been spacefaring, can use their influence to sanction aggression against others. The demands were breathtaking in their scope. They would fundamentally alter the power dynamics of the conclave, which had for centuries been dominated by the oldest spacefaring species. "This is unprecedented," declared the Arbiter. "As is humanity's patience in the face of repeated provocations," countered Chen. "We gave peace every chance. Now we dictate its terms." The final confrontation came 3 weeks later, when the Kelnari Empire, refusing to accept the new reality, launched a desperate attack against Earth's forces with everything they had left. Their entire remaining fleet, nearly 300 warships, converged on the human fleet near the Kelnari homeworld, where Earth had established a blockade. Admiral Wei, aboard the dreadnought Reckoning, watched the Kelnari fleet approach with a sense of resignation. "They still don't understand," he said quietly to his executive officer. "Sir? They think this is about revenge or conquest. They don't understand that we just wanted to be left in peace." The Admiral opened a channel to all Earth vessels. "This ends today. Execute Protocol Sword Unsheathed, final phase. Tactical restraint is no longer required." What followed was not merely a battle, but a demonstration. Earth's ships activated weapon systems that had been held in reserve until this moment. Technologies considered theoretical by even the most advanced conclave species. Quantum phase disruptors tore Kelnari capital ships apart at the molecular level. Temporal stasis fields froze entire squadrons in time, making them helpless targets. Gravity lances collapsed the space around enemy vessels, crushing them into unrecognizable masses of twisted metal. It lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the Kelnari Empire's military capability had been reduced to pre-spaceflight levels. Their remaining ships, mostly civilian transports and scientific vessels, were gathered in orbit around their homeworld, surrounded by Earth's fleet. Admiral Wei opened a channel to the Kelnari's highest remaining authority, their Council of Elders, gathered in their ancient assembly hall on the planet below. "Today, you have a choice," he told them simply. "Accept Earth's terms for peace, or we will reduce your civilization to a pre-industrial state. Your colonies will be disbanded. Your people will be confined to this world. You will not reach the stars again for generations." The head of the council, an elder whose scales had faded to pale gray with age, responded with uncharacteristic humility. "We accept your terms, Admiral. The Kelnari Empire surrenders unconditionally." Wei nodded solemnly. "Then peace begins today. Earth has no desire for conquest or domination. We wanted only security for our people and recognition of our sovereignty. Remember this lesson well. Humanity's restraint should never be mistaken for weakness." 6 months later, Commander Ilara Chen stood once more at the viewport of the diplomatic vessel Olive Branch, watching the conclave station rotate against the stars. But now, the ship was escorted by 2 Nightshade-class battle cruisers, no longer hidden but openly displaying Earth's technological prowess. "The revised conclave charter has been ratified by 78% of member species," reported Lieutenant Reyes, standing beside her. "The new Council of Equal Representatives will convene next week." Chen nodded, satisfied. "And the reparations program for New Haven and the other colonies?" "Proceeding ahead of schedule. The Kelnari are complying fully." She turned from the viewport to face her aide. "Has it been worth it, Lieutenant? The years of pretending to be less than we were, the careful deception, the patient endurance of insults?" Reyes considered the question carefully. "It brought us here, to a galaxy where humanity is respected rather than dismissed, where we can expand in peace, protected by the knowledge that no one will mistake our preference for diplomacy as an invitation to aggression." He paused. "Yes, Commander. I believe it was worth it." Chen smiled slightly. "As do I. We warned them we were holding back. Perhaps now they'll listen when we speak of peace. As the olive branch docked with the conclave station, representatives from dozens of species waited to greet the human delegation, no longer with condescension or dismissal, but with the cautious respect reserved for equals. Perhaps even with a touch of fear. Humanity had revealed its true face to the galaxy. The era of restraint was over. The age of honest strength had begun.